Afghanistan has never been a secluded, isolated land. For millennia, it sat at the heart of Asia, a great crossroads where civilizations met, traded, and often clashed. Strategic passes funneled travelers and armies through the Hindu Kush. Its fertile valleys and choke points were coveted prizes. The story in antiquity ties this land to the Persian Achaemenid world. Eastern provinces here supplied routes and warriors famed for a fierce fighting spirit. A crucial artery of the Silk Road ran through Afghan corridors, carrying ideas, technologies, and goods. Cities across the landscape grew wealthy from this flow. In the 4th century BCE, Alexander's armies fought through the Hindu Kush and met determined resistance. Local tribes used terrain to their advantage. He founded cities. A lasting Greek presence helped create a Greco-Bactrian culture blending Hellenistic and local traditions. After the Seleucids, local kingdoms re-emerged. The Mauryan Empire extended into the south, bringing Buddhism. Persian fortresses, Greek gymnasia, and Buddhist stupas reveal layered history. People here were no passive subjects: soldiers, merchants, farmers, artisans, resilient in perpetual change. This ancient foundation of exchange and independence set the stage for many dynasties. In the 1st century CE, the Kushan Empire rose, its heartland in what is now Afghanistan. This was a golden age of stability and prosperity. The Kushans mastered the Silk Road, protecting routes and reaping rewards. Cities like Bagram and Balkh became cosmopolitan centers. Under Kanishka the Great, Buddhism flourished. The monumental Buddhas of Bamiyan likely date to this era. Monasteries and stupas multiplied. Gandharan art blended Buddhist themes with Greco-Roman naturalism. The empire later fragmented, pressured by powers west and north. In the 7th century, Islam arrived. Conversion here was gradual and complex. By the 10th century, the Ghaznavids of Ghazni championed Persian Islamic culture. Mahmud of Ghazni patronized poets like Ferdowsi, whose Shahnameh became a literary cornerstone. Afghanistan's mosaic deepened. New faith, new art, enduring exchange. The 13th century brought a cataclysm: the Mongol invasions. Cities that had stood for centuries, Balkh, Herat, were ravaged. Irrigation systems failed. Fertile plains turned to wasteland. The population was decimated, cultural life dimmed. Yet the land endured. Mongol successors adopted Islam and Persianate culture. Recovery was slow. In the 14th-15th centuries, the Timurids fostered a renaissance. Herat blossomed. Timurid courts gathered artisans, poets, and scholars. Exquisite miniatures, intricate calligraphy, breathtaking architecture defined the age. Figures like Jami and Behzad left works still celebrated today. This period displayed Afghanistan's capacity for renewal after devastation. Mosques, shrines, and manuscripts remain as testaments to survival and creativity. For centuries, these lands were divided among empires, until a turning point in 1747. After Nader Shah's death, Ahmad Khan Abdali was elected king by Aloya Jirga, taking the title Ahmad Shah Durrani. He united Pashtun tribes and forged alliances with Tajiks, Hazaras, and Uzbeks. From Kandahar, campaigns created one of the era's largest Islamic empires and a shared political identity. In the 1800s, Afghanistan became a buffer between the Russian and British empires. The British sought a friendly ruler in Kabul. An invasion in 1839 met fierce resistance and ended in a disastrous retreat in 1842. Only one European famously reached Jalalabad, a symbol of total defeat. A later war left Britain steering foreign policy while recognizing Afghan internal sovereignty. Borders, including the controversial Durand Line, were drawn largely by outside powers. Afghanistan avoided formal colonization, but paid a heavy price in sovereignty and access. Geography trapped it between titans, yet identity and independence persisted. In 1919, after the Third Anglo-Afghan War, Afghanistan won control of its foreign policy. Independence Day. Amanullah's bold reforms, constitution, secular education for boys and girls, challenged conservative norms. Rapid change without consensus triggered revolts. In 1929, he abdicated. The Musahibans took a cautious path. Zahir Shah ruled for decades. The 1964 Constitution established parliamentary democracy and expanded women's rights. Kabul grew cosmopolitan. Afghanistan stayed neutral, accepting aid from both superpowers. In 1973, Daoud ended the monarchy and declared a republic. Shifting alliances and repression bred crisis. In April 1978, the PDPA seized power, killing Daoud, ushering in decades of conflict. A communist era began, and with it, unrelenting war. The PDPA launched radical reforms enforced by repression. These policies alienated traditional, religious, and rural society. Resistance coalesced into the Mujahideen, holy warriors. On Christmas Eve 1979, the Soviet Union invaded. Global rivals funneled arms and money into the conflict. U.S.-supplied Stingers helped down Soviet helicopters. Afghan fighters waged a determined guerrilla war. 10 years of devastation left cities in ruins and landmines scattered for decades. Over 1 million Afghans were killed. Millions fled, creating one of the world's largest refugee crises. The Soviets withdrew in 1989. Peace did not follow. Victorious factions turned on each other. Kabul became a battlefield. Ethnicity, ideology, and ambition fueled a brutal civil war. Tens of thousands of civilians died. The country was shattered. Despair set the stage for a new force promising order. From the civil war's chaos, a movement emerged in the south, the Taliban. Calling themselves students, they promised order and ended many warlord abuses. By 1996, they controlled most of the country, declaring the Islamic Emirate. They imposed a strict interpretation of Sharia, banning music and television, restricting recreation. Women were forbidden from most work and education and required to wear the burqa. The Taliban hosted foreign militants, notably Al-Qaeda's Osama bin Laden. From Afghan bases, 9/11 was planned. U.S. demands for handover were refused. A U.S.-backed intervention toppled the Taliban. The Northern Alliance swept into Kabul. A new constitution, elections, and a republic followed under President Hamid Karzai. Security forces were rebuilt, girls returned to school, women re-entered public life. Cities revived, civil society grew, fragile but vibrant. But the Taliban regrouped in rural strongholds and across the border, launching an insurgency. 2 decades brought grinding war, corruption, and public fatigue. Talks culminated in a 2020 deal, setting a firm U.S. withdrawal deadline. In 2021, state forces collapsed with stunning speed. Kabul fell on August 15th. The evacuation marked a dramatic end to the post-2001 chapter. As of October 24, 2025, Afghanistan is once again ruled by the Islamic Emirate. A humanitarian and economic crisis deepens amid sanctions and frozen central bank assets. The economy is crippled, driving widespread poverty and hunger. Gains in women's education and public life have been sharply rolled back. Afghanistan's long history, empires, resistance, cultural brilliance, and conflict continues to unfold. Its people again face the challenge of building a future. Resilience has long defined life here. Between mountains and deserts, crossroads and frontiers, Afghanistan remains a land of endurance. History here is layered, and the next layer is being written now. Thank you for watching.